Hello out there, James here. I don't know if you was able to see the title. Why did the KKK come to Dayton, Ohio, where there's all walks of life? You know, I never could figure out people that if they're prejudiced against other nations and people, why do they live around people that they are integrated with? If they feel that you feel like that other people impose your space as far as in education, neighborhood, background, social environment. Why would anybody want who don't like other cultures of people who want to belong to an organization like the KKK or any all those other groups out there? I never could figure out why do you live and choose to work in an integrated area. Now, here in Ohio, there are some towns I have been through that is not so well integrated, little towns that really don't have a culture population of different ethnic groups of people. Of in between here in Columbus and Dayton to Cincinnati and between here to Cleveland, there are a lot of towns that if they wanted to put that message to, they can stop in one of those little towns that where there's not a heavy integrated population of people who wants to live around people who are all different, don't have no problem live around people of all different nationalities. And they won't and a lot of people who really join these organizations like that because they feel inadequate about something's come against them personally. One is the government, and I mean, a lot of people are not too pleased with some things that happen in the government. Two is that from a perspective that different religious organizations take part up in their neighborhoods, no matter if they're whatever, if they're Muslim, Christian, or Judaism. Three, you have the people who are in a certain alternative lifestyle, like the gay community, the LGBT community. Four, you have the African American community, and which some stereotypers believe that you know people there's a certain percentage of people that cause a lot of ruckus, and maybe the kids are getting bullied in school, maybe the house got broken into, maybe someone called them an H word, in and it gives them an excuse to be bitter. But to say all that, and you live, and to say all that, and you're part of an organization which stands for what the Brotherhood of the KKK, which they say this is their own Christian organization, and that's why they're able to go out there in places in on cities and major cities where it's integrated, where to me it seemed like they're trying to start something to stir up something among the people who choose to live next to people of all different nationalities and all religions and all races. Now, in Ohio, there are a lot of little towns where it's predominantly what I would say white, that maybe some may not agree, but they probably be more receptive to you up with your opinion out there, because a lot of times maybe their idea of living out in them little small towns might be the same way. They don't want to live around a whole lot of different culturally people. That could be one of the reasons. Then it could be the traffic too. There could be other reasons, but and the cost of living could be one. The traffic could be one. But most of the time, most people who live in those areas, there's a lot of little towns outside of Columbus, like Jefferson, West Jefferson. You go past Marysville. You go to the south of Columbus. You have Orion, Ohio, London, Ohio, all the way down to past near Wilmington, and all these little towns where it's predominantly There are a few other cultures down there, but not that many people. That's from the cultures, and so they could have went to one of them little towns like that and spread their religious or whatever rhetoric that they wanted to say. I never could figure out why would you come to a city where you know people who are white are not going to agree with your opinion because they choose to live around all nationalities and all ethnic backgrounds of people. That was their choice. That's the choice to live around and integrate with people as far as being neighborly with, being next, having kids going to school with different people. Hey, there's some places where in Ohio, there's towns. Trust me when I say this to you. If you're that kind of individual out there, and it doesn't. I know I have sense enough to know it doesn't represent all people. But if you're that kind of individual that you see another nationality that's feel like imposing on your race or something like that, I mean, you might want to think about it. That's my personal opinion. I mean, you might want to consider that there's so many places in Ohio and so many places in little towns that maybe they might receive your message. But why would you want to live in an area if you feel like your kids are getting bullied and affirmative actions taking away your jobs, and giving it to some minority? Because this is the reason why some people push the issue that they feel that blacks got the upper edge, just like the other groups of people. And basically, it's not always the case because you still have a prominence of companies who are Caucasian in the rural areas, in the suburb areas, and in areas between that still hire majority white males and white females. So I don't even see what is the big deal. Especially if they live in a rural area where the taxes are cheaper for their business. And a lot of people who don't have transportation, they're not going to go out there and be bothered and want to drive out there and go in those little towns where it's pitch black dark when it's like the suburb. I'm just being frankly honest with you. So it's like I don't understand what is it that you fear when you basically you have it made. I mean, you have a lot span of choice. If you that kind of white male or female that feel like blacks and other people are invading your space particularly in some place like here in Ohio, I just could never figure out that there's other options, other places you can go. There's other little towns you can go to that maybe your kids won't be coming home with a little black boy and a little black girl as their boyfriend and girlfriend. Because I've heard that argument too. I understand that, and that's another reason that some people won't tell you about this, but that's one of the reasons why, so they can prevent that. So, and hope that the person make that right choice. Some people is kind of liberated with it, kind of liberal. They love no matter what, but deep down there's some people it affect their psychic, because when people like this who have that mindset as a KKK, it disturbs their reality, because common sense can tell you that if let's say if I was a white person, I was prejudiced, and I could stand half the nationalities that was in the United States, I'm going to live in an area where I'm not going to be around other nationalities. Then I'm going to reserve myself to myself. And then anybody that agrees with me, we have our own self. And there's a lot of people who feel that way. They just like to reserve it for themselves. But there's a lot of people, and you don't have to go out there and get yourself hurt and get yourself in a conflict. And when you could have went up to the next little town, and they probably would have welcomed you up there. that is predominantly white male, white female, white child. This is the truth. I mean, I never could figure out and understand it for the life of me that someone in the KKK or some skinhead group or something like that, that they're not people of sin are not coming out there to harm you. They're not coming out there. No other ethnic group is going to mess with you. So why is it that you have to go and start war and mess with them? And some people do that. If you don't like blacks, period, let's say that's one of your targets. Don't watch sports. I mean, if you watch sports where it's predominantly white males. I mean, I don't understand this. If you feel insecure about seeing a male who's opposite, and your kids is looking up to something, they like this person, and they like the athletic ability. But if you watching TV, and this goes to the person who have this prejudice mindset. This don't apply to all white people. I'm just saying to the ones who have this mindset, the ones that have this, because they don't know how to express it until they get behind the computer or feel like they get with some people that go behind the keyboard. But to save a lot of hassle and headache, a lot of problems could be solved. Just don't go around people. And then when people say, well, why don't you go to the city? Well, I don't want to be around all those different people down there. Well, I don't want to be mixed and just come on out with it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's your freedom. You know, if that's what you feel, that's the way it is. Because believe it or not, there are other nationalities that they like to integrate as far as get the dollar, but they want to segregate as far as when it comes to their social background. And that's the majority of the population in this. Because so even though we have a lot of different ethnic backgrounds, but reality of it is most ethnic, all these different ethnic group people don't really intermingle with the majority of these people don't with other people. They pretty much stay to their own. They pretty much they don't want to come around other people unless something, if it's business or they there to make money. That's the God's honest truth. They don't want to mix in and blend in with you and be friends with you. If they want to be friends with you, they want that dollar from you, and that's it. I mean that's it across the board. But I could never figure out, and maybe someone can answer me, why would you go into an integrated area of Ohio where there's all different nationalities of people and try to stir up some stuff, risky, someone threatening your life, and really causing the police to come down and have a heavy presence down there. When there's people in the city majority of people in that city don't hold that value in Dayton or here in Columbus. But if you go out on the outskirts, they might hold that opinion. So my advice with them is, why don't you try one of them little towns, like the little town where they from? Why don't they get one of them permits out there and exercise their view on private or public property? And you can yell all the racial epithets and what you disdain and dislike about the government and everything else and every other racial group, because ain't nobody gonna be out there. Because it ain't gonna really offend nobody, because there ain't no majority of the people don't have the people out. It might offend some people who really don't want to carry that view, but I never could figure that out. You know what I mean? I never could figure that out. When you see, okay, you know, there's places that in America that are still predominant in states and cities. I just one guy named Nick Johnson, he puts out all the different ethnic backgrounds of the different states and different cities. And trust me, I mean, and there's companies there and employment there. The cost of living might be somewhat decent. And trust me, there ain't no other group of people around going to blend in and mix in with your children. And you don't have to worry about your child bringing home some person of a different nationality. They'll be just a good old looking American, blue-eyed, blonde, brunette hair boy from your part of the country. And I never could figure that. You don't have to worry about that. So that's why I could never come understand it, because there ain't no sense of yelling racial epithets at you. It's just that I'm just saying, how come that the Ku Klux Klan don't use common sense? In other places, like they don't use common sense. Where go to a town where people want to hear it, where people that look like you, and then you can express your view. But don't come into a city where it's majority of a mixture, an integrated city, because you're gonna get the backlash and cause the police and the damn near the military to have to protect you. I can never understand, why do you go to an integrated city? I mean, no one. That's why people live in an integrated city, because they don't. One of the things, they don't value that, and they choose to live among different ethnic groups of people. So the white people is not hearing you, who wants to live among people of other colors. So what is the purpose? It's just, it doesn't make no sense. I mean, if you really technically think, it's analyzed this now. There's areas outside of Dayton. There's a lot of little towns outside, going to the west to the Indiana border. It's predominantly white. You go north of Dayton, it's predominantly white. A lot of little towns. I've been through the towns. I've been in some places like Troy, Ohio, for example. I've been in Wapaketa, Ohio. These are towns is not too far from Dayton. And maybe there's some people out there that I don't know how, but it look like it's predominantly all of what you call all American towns. Because that's what white people, that's what makes it the all American town in some people's view. And so I could never figure that out. Why would they go? And if you person that's in the city, it won't take that long for you to drive out and go to a KKK rally if you're the one that want to hear that stuff and say, hey, maybe we might get some good ideas, and maybe we might, because I'm tired of my kid get bullied in school. And this is the reason why some people are prejudiced. This is the reason why they invite something like the KKK through. My neighbor's kid brought home a black boyfriend or something like that, or say, oh, heck raised loose. And they don't want to see that. And I don't want that to be the influence on there's some people, I'm telling you, across America that think like this, just as well as someone, but but when you confront them with, oh, I'm not that prejudiced, I'm not that person, but you got the same opinion as the KKK. Because the KKK said, we don't believe in mixing our blood either. Heck, there might be some black people might even don't want to mix in their blood, or these other nationalities. But let me say this, it's by choice that people do it. So why you got to go on and the people who choose to integrate, and intermix with other people? Why would you want to live in an area where there's integration? And you being a white male in America, whatever your occupation is, can pick up a family, buy a house in the country somewhere in a predominantly white area, and trust me, you ain't have to worry about that stuff for miles and miles around. And believe me, I've been in some towns around in Ohio, trust me, that are predominantly white, and they're not too culturally open. So that it'd been perfect for some KKK. There's some place I know, outskirts of Columbus, outskirts of Dayton, outskirts of Cleveland, outskirts of the major cities in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana. Hey, ain't no people of color coming that way. And anybody, and then they're not, and really, they ain't and some people, interracial couples, they gonna, at least sometimes with the man, he gonna know not to go out that way, because somebody can run him off the road or something, because he's driving down with his nice looking wife who may happen to be white. Trust me, it's not easy. People have a naive, and people say, well, it's old. The Klan is old, and that they're going away. No, I don't believe that. It's all because it's almost like any organization, someone's going to keep something going, and so somebody out there who's a part of that organization is going to keep up the rhetoric over and over and over and over and over to carry. Someone got carried. Is this, even if it dwindles down a small number, it's still a certain percentage that can get there, go down there to a courthouse in any city to make arrangements to spread out whatever they want to spread out, their propaganda, whatever it is. But that's one thing I could never figure out about them. It's like, why would you even go to an integrated city? I mean, it's just, to me, it doesn't make no sense. And I tried it at my age. I tried to figure it out, because sometimes you hear some people's point of view. Why do they feel that the way they do, and why they think that the way that they think? But that's the reason why, because sometimes they don't want the kids getting beat up if they're white. They don't want their kids bringing home someone of a different nationality. This is the truth. This is the reason why. This is probably one of the propaganda that they take. If you go to a white supremacist gathering or something like that, this is what they're probably talking about. The government's doing something. It's going to take away their jobs and give it to the immigrants, the minorities, people who are in the LGBT community. You have people say there's something about the Jewish people. It's the same old. Okay, if you have that problem, why don't you create your own? And then you have that right to feel the way you do and express the way you do and build up your own community like they do in some parts of South Africa. They got a predominantly all-white community over there. And ain't no one coming in that community, no other than someone who's from that community. Just politically say, hey, and they say, hey, that's their right. And then us, the rest of the people in society, we would not go over in your community and mess with you because that's the way it is. But you can't go out there and start some stuff with some other people. And if you just disdain, know that there's going to be some people that look like you are going to choose to be with other people and live around other people, integrate around other people, work with other people, and that's it. So they're going to choose to be, and you can't. You got to adjust your reality. Basically, it's called adjusting your reality. A lot of people don't want to. The world ain't centered around you, and if you cause violence, the violence can come back on you in some kind of way. I mean, it's like some people in the world want to call it their karma or whatever. So the best thing to do is basically, if you're a person who believe like the KKK, the white nationalists, the skinheads, all the other people, don't live in an integrated community. Do yourself a favor. Don't stress yourself out. Find you a town somewhere in America where it's predominantly white. And then when you get out there, some people might not agree with you, but they might understand, and they might think you're a good person. Because hey, that's what Donald Trump said. That's what Donald. They're good guys. They're good, fine men. He's not the only one in Trump America right now that think like that. But it's the truth. I mean, you don't have to live around a city where there's crime, which you would say, and these other groups of people who can't speak the language, who have dark skin, who are from different religions, a different sexual background. So why even live around them? Separate yourself, and then let the other people know this is our town. This is KKK town, and other people know don't go through that town. If you there's those people, those segment of people, I think it should be like, don't go through that town. Don't spend your money in that town. And if you white, you choose to spend money, that's on you. But if you go through that town, hey, you pay the consequences. And trust me, if this town's still like that, stay away from it. In fact, I can understand to the point why you have some black people that will, in different cities that want to separate because like, damn, how if you here's logic and to me how I look at things in life. When you are people that come from a people that everybody don't mind seeing on TV, dribble a ball, doing the comedy, being the music, whatever, but they don't mind making money either, but they can't stand your skin. They can't stand your aura with some aura. Then and you have to understand that the people who are being opposed to this have the reality of understanding that you don't like them because of that. And most people with the reality understand that, okay, if you choose to be that way, then I won't socialize with you. I don't want to be around you. That's something that I could figure out. People who are prejudiced. So it pushed some Black people to say, we want our own community, we want our own this, we want our own neighborhoods, we want our own, and don't bother us. That's what it was in the beginning. That's what it was in an early part of America. They had their own towns, and they were. But the thing about it is, what caused the ruckus, lies, and deceitfulness that burned down the Black towns, because Black people were segregated, and some people, some Black people, I was shocked really to keep it between me and you. They wish they didn't never integrated. I've heard Black people say that they don't want to integrate because it didn't solve anything. So they might be on the same leg as some white people wish that African Americans would never integrate, because there's different cultures of learning, lifestyle, hair, skin, and everything else. This is the truth, and it said that, and it feel like we being pushed behind. So it's like, and then other some of us are encouraging other of us just to stay within the community. Like don't go mixing like the Klan would say, don't mix the Black with the white. But you got some Blacks that feel the same way, and other nationalities that feel the same way towards Blacks. Other nationalities okay, but really, and it said, well, what love is? Some of you might say love is love. There might be a certain segment, but you got to understand, when you have people in the same culture as you, they scared that they lose in their culture. They're scared that they lose in the part of the inheritance of people that look like them, feel comfortable expressing the opinion about other people, these other people out here who they might have encountered on a bad occasion with, so they can just say anything what they want to think and think whatever they want to say about this without offending somebody, because them people that they talk about is not part of that culture. So that's why they are the way they are. And so the Klan feels the same way. And the people who are the KKK don't want nobody mixed in with their children. They tell you that we don't want no race mixing. And they will tell you, and they will tell you, my daughter and my son about to bring another white person home. They don't bring no Mexican, don't bring no Black person home. Anything that resembles it. Even if they light, dark, even if their features is half and half, like Meghan Markle. she better be white. It is the truth. I mean, and you have some African Americans that feel the same way. They don't want their blood mixed in with other people, because from an African American standpoint of view, it's because of history. It's because when they look at some people, some of us see the opposition of the people that oppose us. That's when it comes between Black and white. So this is the God's honest truth why some people on both sides don't want to see interracial couples. You'll see over 100,000 videos of this. But this because when it comes to the African American community, is because you're blending out your race. And the white community, you're blending out your race. They both agree with that. Both communities agree that don't want to see internet. And then you have other international people that people don't want to blend in with Black, maybe with white, maybe, And I believe it with a white person, it could be kind of forego because of a class social status. So but the black person don't carry the same weight as far as the social class, the political class, and the social class in America, because TV trains us that we look like the rappers on TV with the pants sagging down and everything, and then when you think of black people, they feel like black people are lazy, black people are shiftless. That's why they use the N word. That's why they use the N word, because they can justify, stay away from these people. It's going to cause you. And I've heard this argument in the past that, the children's not going. They're going to be confused, and this is coming from the Caucasian community. The children, they're not going to know who they are. It's bad. It's too bad, and it's funny because this is the argument that they make. So the same thing, but they don't. What the Klan is? They too out with it. They blast out. But there's a lot of people who agree with the Klan, and they could be just a liberal. That's what's scary about it. And the Klan knows this too. The people say you just like a good old white man. I'm just using that as a really, you white person. You know that you don't want your blood being seeded out, being mixed with these people. Why you want to mix your blood out? That's why they try to justify that argument of hate, and they just said because it's already painted in their mind. This is like, for example, black people. They think of Africa, people come from a dark continent, living out in the element, half naked, whatever, and are they, just next to it, and they feel like we're next to an animal. That's not just them. It's in different parts of the world too. That's just some people with that logic and community, not having the sense enough to know that basically the origins of man came out of the black man. All these other origins of men that come out of the black man. But it's funny how the black man, who people like the Klan and individuals and other individuals, other countries look down upon, but they come up out of because it's genetic and genes. So basically, out of genetic and genes, you can benefit, because two people who are Caucasian can't produce somebody who is black. They can't do that. But you put a black person with a white person with other person, the genetic and genes, and that's true just as well. And then when they do, some people you have some people who's prejudiced, right? They'll have a spouse of that nationality who is whatever the spouse could be a black female, but they'll exercise their prejudice on other black people in the community. But they're not prejudiced, and they throw it up and like, hey, well, I'm not prejudiced though because my boyfriend is black, my girlfriend's white, whatever, black, whatever the case may be. But they still exercising the same prejudice as the KKK. I mean, it's crazy. It's really, really, really dumb. But I made this video is just because, like, I was just thinking to myself, let me make a video on this topic. Why would they come to Dayton, Ohio? When you go to Dayton, Ohio, a good percentage of people are integrated down there in different parts. It depends on part of the Dayton you go to. Why would you go to, and it's going to stir up something. It's going to stir up something really big. So, in which, I don't know, they were hoping that the blacks would jump on the whites who are liberate, whatever, but it didn't work. Whatever. So it didn't work. So they probably should have been better off going to a smaller town who would maybe welcome them, receive them more. Because you live in a little small, predominantly white town, really, somebody gonna show up. It may not be a whole lot of people showing up, but somebody gonna show up to the Klan rally, and then they hear what you got to say, and they might even agree. Say, yeah, that's why we moved out here. We didn't want to be in that city with all that stuff, that crazy mess down there. Getting the car breaking into and house breaking into, live next door to this ethnic group of people, and you know, they beating up my kids in school, they breaking in my car, they messing with my wife, whatever. I mean, you know, this is the reason why what I'm saying is they justifying their prejudice. So what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to understand is, if that's the case, then go ahead, go to an area like let's say West Jeffersonville. West Jeffersonville is probably predominantly white. I can name you some towns right off the bat that's predominantly white. There's nobody of color in any of these towns. Even if you go over to Zanesville, Ohio, there are blacks there, but there's like a small percentage of black people there. It's like predominant. Anything between here to Zanesville is predominantly white. Predominantly white towns. There might be a few African Americans, maybe a few little Asians mixed in there. So maybe it's like Latino community coming through there. But most of the time, they're not in that. They are not in those areas. I never could figure that out. So why is it that they have to come into an integrated area and start some mess with some people that don't share the same opinion? And most people who choose to live around these other different ethnic background, religious people, they choose to live around there. So it's like they button their head with somebody. It doesn't make no sense. It really does. If you feel all the towns, just think about this. Anybody that who live in Ohio, all these little towns where it's predominantly uncultured, what I call uncultured, where there's no Chinese, there's no Mexicans, there's no blacks, there's no Muslims, I don't think there's any hardly people of the Jewish faith is out there. There's no one out there. Trust me, I have seen towns like this. They have not. There's not one. There's not one. It's like that. But yet, there might be some people saying, "Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying." So, what's the big deal? I'm just saying. But I never could figure out why would they want to come out, come into an integrated place. And that's crazy. I mean, and then worse getting beat up, getting the cops beat up, and someone threatening your life at the same time. And you see people with guns, and then the police got to come across Ohio and Indiana, got to protect these people. It's like, look, man, why don't you go into another town where if I was a white police officer, why don't you guys go into a white town and do that? I mean, why you got to go into a city? I don't know if that's your opinion, because a lot of people feel there's a lot of people out there. You'd be surprised that in I heard that this is true, that the people in South, they're more outward with it. This from what I heard. People up here, they're more don't want to be politically incorrect until it's kind of put into a bottle. And so between one half of the North and part of the South, but they got one thing in common. They both some of the people carry the same thing when it comes to dealing with different ethnic group of people, having the same mindset of different ethnic group of people. But I just don't understand that. And so it's like, hey, and really the people who is mixed, they don't want to be around it, I mean, they don't want to be around somebody who shares this opinion, so they're not coming around you. So why would you go and push and bully your views and try to bully tactic and spread hatred tactic towards them and act out in a violent way when it was the person who's like that, who's an agitator, instigator, is provoking the attack. Then it's like, man, you jump on us. Oh, well, yeah, but you provoking the attack. So naturally someone's going to respond. And so I just, you'd be surprised that there's a lot of people that they might oppose them, but they have to But I talk to him later. But I want to finish out this video first. But I just wanted to make this video because someone's going to read. I just maybe someone out there can maybe have that same question in their mind. Why would you want to be around people who you don't like? And it's weird because you have people. I believe even where I live at that don't like black people, and they live around black people. Now where I live at is an integrated building, and that's got to be it. If you're a person who's prejudiced and don't like other groups of people, that's got to be a hell of a thing that you can raise your hand up to say hi to your neighbor and adjust your reality, what I call adjusting your reality to someone who's different than you. That's got to be something, man. That's got to be something that these people you're opposed to, and maybe you see someone a victim of crime, and the perpetrator would have to be black, and the victim happened to be white for some pretend reason. That's got to be a real mind-boggling to have all that pent up, but yet I can never understand the people living in integrated areas, and in these areas that they're not so integrated. That's something that really just scratch your head. And these are people who don't like. That's one of the groups I mentioned is black people, because they feel that black people come destroy and destruct stuff. So if that's the case, then why do you live around them? If you feel like they're going to be racist against you, why do you could go around them? Why do you live in the same neighborhood? That would be my question to the person who carries that spirit. Because a lot of people don't know until they get among other people that look like them, and then they start coming out, or they get comfortable with a black person that's not going to come and snap at them or cuss them out, whatever, snap at their throat. This is the truth. Certain people they approach that with that mindset, or they feel like, hey, I got a whole people crowd with me, so I can just say whatever I want to say, and that's it. That's the truth. You have people with that, and them the worst people. I mean, I'd rather see someone like most people. I want to see on outward, because I want to see where you're coming from, and then you inwarded it, then you put it on the inside, and then it explodes on the outside. Because I don't want to deal with that kind of person. And I've dealt with people who have that type of prejudice, and I kind of pull away from distance. And I mean, because it ain't going to do no good to confront them, because they're going to be in denial anyway and think that you just one of these people that just want to cry wolf. But they know that they have it. And what I do, so people who have that kind of prejudice, I know I spot it. So what I do, I don't go around people like that of a different culture. I just don't want to deal with it, because it's like, what's the sense? So if my presence make you uncomfortable, and then we don't need to be in each other's face. But it's really strange, and that you seeing stuff like this sometimes. Every once in a while you got one of these groups that pop up, like the white national, like those people that did down in Charlottesville, Virginia, that they just got tired, and knowing that their face is going to be exposed, and it's going to affect their career, but they're willing to hate. That hate is deep, man. That hatred for other groups of people is deeper than you can even imagine. And it's like, okay, there's going to be a certain adjustment, and they just feel like they feel inadequate because they're used to being dominant, and everything is being foretelling and elitist. And these people carry an elite attitude and dominance attitude. And now it's like it's starting to shift, and the reality of it is shaken. And so when Trump said what he said, President Trump said what he said, they took it as interpretation, as a wake-up call that they could go exercise out. They want to revive what they used to do. And it wasn't just Trump was like this. This was there before even Trump got to office, when Obama, that the fear of a person of color, and you see all the racial things that his family went through. Because what happens is, in America, they can't adjust their reality. This is one country that can't adjust their reality too well. They have a certain way of looking at it. That they want to look like this. They don't want They don't want change. They don't want change in leadership. They don't want someone in position of change. So when someone in a position of change, of looking like them, ain't looking like them no more, of the ones that they assume have the low self-esteem, these low people, which they consider sometimes African Americans as the low people, bring them on top. It's some kind of conspiracy. It's either they did it because the government said you have to hire a black person. Of course, he didn't work, or she didn't work his way up, whatever. It was handed to them, and it's not as simple as that. So they use this excuse, and they go off and they join these organizations like that, getting a boast of false narrative and false information, and it's to start something. And even if they did go out there and kill a million other people, eventually, and it was left down to the world between the poor white and rich white, guess who's gonna win out? The rich white, because he had the resource. The poor white is like anybody else. He's gonna suffer while the rich white got all the rich white person will have all the resources. And it's about class at that point, because now you can't sit up there and say, well, it's these other nationalities and these people, this other religion, because it can't get to that point. And they have done this before. They've done this through abortion. And there was a woman, I made this on a prior video about Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger was not just a feminist; she was a eugenist. A eugenist is a person that's like they are like racist times 3. Not only that, they don't like the people; they want to literally depopulate the people and give men in positions depopulate different parts of the world. You got to be an evil son of a gun that want to depopulate people just because they are on that soil, which is like Africa, for example. So they got to find a way to push abortion in Africa, like they did here in America. There were so many African Americans that were being born during the time after slavery and during the Jim Crow and all this stuff was going on, that they were outnumbering what they call the whites. So she felt like so they had to slow down the reproduction of the blacks, because they're gonna outnumber you, they're gonna outnumber you, they're gonna outgrow you, they're gonna outbeat you. And so now this is the same going on with the other people coming. This thing repeats itself over and over and over again. So they neglected one group of people, and now they try to get the numbers of other groups of people in higher numbers and give them favor. But sooner or later, it's kind of a tug of war, because if you bring more than those other people from the other country in this country, the people who are racist, who are racist towards the American blacks, are going to try to figure out a way to stop the flow of these, put the same thing on these other countries, these people from these other countries. That's the truth. The same mindset, the same political views and stuff like that. So that's what's going on. But a eugenist is a person that really, these people are wicked, straight up wicked. And if you can stop the population of these people, you're going to kill them by their numbers. If you can't kill them by their numbers, You put something in their food, you put something in their medication, in their water that make them they help deteriorate, or it maybe something that would take out their mind. And that's what a eugenicist is. See, eugenics is a racist times. If anything, they said what they be think, they would think of things like this. This would motivated Nazi Germany at the time when Germany was under Nazis. They were motivated to do that to the people over there, and it's scary. What's eerie and disgusting? You have people that share that same view here in this country. And it don't matter if they're from the left wing or from the right wing, because the two wings are on the same bird. They're on the same bird. So I say this, so the Klan is just that they feel it's like just another. They feel it's another organization, but no, it's trying to stay in there. It hasn't been completely. Only way the Klan will get rid of it's going to be the Most High. He's going to have to deal with the Klan. He's going to have to literally either wipe that whole organization out. The Most High, creator of heaven and earth. That's the only way he's going to create these eugenists and these racist people is the Most High. And that's the solution. He's got to deal with it accordingly through his mercy if they don't repent. And the turns of the tables, and now it's starting to hit here where the population of people, young millennials, are not having children, and they're not just on a different ethnic group of people. These are This is a generation, and just like the United States, you have people in Iceland and parts of Europe are not having children. So the immigrants is having more. They say in Europe is having more children than the natural citizens doing. This frightens some people because it's about to change the whole dynamics. In America, you have people in America. It's the same way, and so that's why you got these groups like this stuff going national with these national groups and stuff, and like the Klan and whatever these skinheads, these other groups like that, because they're running scared, and it's nothing that they can do because people are going to choose who they're going to blend out to. It's nothing they can do but send things like that, send and try to get their certain way of getting message out to someone that someone will carry on what they do and their beliefs. And there's some people that do it. It's not that. But there's some people are not going to believe that. And so the reality of it is the tides are changing in America just as well as over in different parts of the world. I think what happened was why it did the way it did. Is the way it was because when you take your hatred towards and disdain for other people and really physically, mentally abuse them unjustifiably, a quality of life, it's just a matter of time things turn around against you in the end. So this is the reason why you have a population of people who are dying off because innocent people, because of people who want to perpetuate the evil on other people. See, it comes back. So the sad thing about it is that the same people are trying to have this hatred. It's going to cost them in the end. They're going to die, and if they don't repent and learn to love people, the end is going to be worse than anything. So what I'm saying is, so if you hate for another human being, it's that hate I'm talking about. That's disgust, that hate. I can't stand these people. I hate them to the point I hate them that they will be wiped off. Then you have that type of hate. It's coming against you. If you believe in the presence of somebody, the curse is going to hit their households. So them people who was in the KKK and all these organizations, the household is going to be cursed if they don't repent. They don't renounce it and turn their life over. Because if you don't repent, God forbid, it may not happen to that individuals in the Klan, but it might happen to somebody in their family who they love. It happens. Because one thing about the sun shines on the just as well as the unjust. I wouldn't want to be a part of an organization that can't stand people just because of ethnic background. Okay, it's one thing you have a right to be prejudiced. That's your bill. That's what it is. You prejudice. But if it's a prejudice to go out there and aggravate, to provoke violence, then that's a whole different ballgame. That's the truth. And that's what they've always done. That's what they have a history of doing, is to provoke people to fight, and they go out there and fight, and some innocent people get caught up, like they did in Charlottesville. And all this is going to do is going to turn the tables on them. Why they think is they trying to turn the tables on the people, it's going to turn back on them. And in more ways than one. People are fed up with this stuff. So if you're a person that feel like like the Klan do, maybe you need to separate yourself. I mean, if you're a person who's white, what they call white or Caucasian, and feel that way, maybe you do need to separate yourself. If you feel inadequately jealous of these people, of other people who's taking something away from your family, your children, or whatever, maybe you just need to separate yourself. That'd be the only answer. But don't. That way you can have peace of mind. Because everybody deserves peace of mind. And believe it or not, there might be some people who might even back you up that carry the same opinion. We don't know. Just like there's some people that are being backed up in parts like, say, South Africa, who believed in apartheid. There's some people that probably backed them up. They had a political party that backed them up. You never know. That believe in their views and what the country's turning into, chaos and everything else, and the rhetoric. So if you're trying to adopt the same ways as the South Africans did, the white South Africans did, can it be done here in America? It's already here in America, in different towns from all different states got their own area where it's predominantly there's no other race of people. So I don't see there's no point even bringing that. Then why do you even have a group of people have to go protest something like that? Because it's already done. People already separate themselves. People, they only come together on a couple occasions. When they shop together, when they work together, when they go to school together. That's the only time you'll see people come out in droves. I mean, and make that entertainment, like a city entertainment. But most people don't integrate with other people. And why is that? One, it's a culture barrier. Two, it's a language barrier. Three, it's just that some people feel like they ain't got nothing common. And then some people are just in it. They're scared because they won't be accepted, to be mocked or whatever. And it's a miscommunication. So most people don't really communicate with each other anyway, of different nationalities, unless in those four settings. Majority of the times, they don't. Let's say like a workplace, like I said, a school place, something like education, college, or something like that. Entertainment, could be sports, could be bars. But most nationality of people don't blend in with other nationality of people. And even if they did come here to America, they tend to stick to their own. They flourish among their own. Majority of people, they deal with people who speak their native language. Every culture I've seen here in Columbus, and we got many cultures here, different cultures. Majority cultures stick to their own culture. They may live next door to a person who's a born person from America. A majority of the time, believe it or not, most people stick to their culture when they practice their religion, and they live among other people, but they don't really come out. I've seen like for here that you have kids, right? Like if they like the Muslim kids don't come out until they have the playground by themselves. The American kids go out there by themselves, black, white, whatever. So they automatically separating themselves already. So it's already separation. Two, and I forgot another one. Hospitals, medical care. That's the time you see other people, different nationalities. That's in the medical field, doctors, nurses, and things like that. But that's the only time. It's always on a business. So majority of the time, people don't really interact with other different. Majority of the time, they don't interact with different nationalities. As far as I'm coming over your house and having dinner and kids playing in the backyard and all that stuff like that. Very seldom. Very seldom. So majority of people of all these different nationalities segregate anyway. So I don't understand what people like the Ku Klux Klan or all these other people are saying. People are already divided. They might have got to deal with the produce in the economy as far as business, but majority of people don't interact with people. Maybe one or two, but it's just they usually fly by and we go about our business. Because it's just, you are of what your culture is. So you're going to be around people who speak like you, joke around and cut the rug and everything. That's just, in every culture is like that in America. So yeah, we're united in certain difference, but we're still separated we're still divided in certain separate in our everyday life, in our household. That's the truth. They tried to make it like that, but it's not always like that in some cases, because even if you go to certain areas of town here, the majority of people are in that group of people, communicate with friends, family from their native country, wherever that may be. So they don't really interact too much with the Americans unless native born Americans, unless it's some business, and that's it. It's in and out. Bam. That's how the way it is. So that's what I wanted to say this evening. But I just wanted to dress this out there. I know a lot of people only seen one person that came to it and they found it kind of boring. But it's something to think about. It's something really to have a question. It's like, okay, if you feel this way, then why do you go around people that you don't like? I mean, I don't understand people. Why? And if you hate them so much, and you don't like them so much, then don't take their money. Don't stay out of their presence. Go into the private sector. Don't be out in the public. You don't need to be out in the public. I mean, do your thing. Be a truck driver. I don't know. Work at home. At least you have peace of mind. You don't have to deal with none of these people. You don't have to deal with all these different cultural people that just disdain you. That makes you just upset. Just get under your skin. You venting out in ways at people on social media, or some kind of over on the phone or something. If you have peace of mind and you feel insecure about other people, maybe you just need to just not be around them. don't worry. They're not. Most people picked it up when they know that you don't want to be bothered with them. Most people pick that up just by your personality. Look, I don't like you. Stay away from me. That's it. That's how some people are. They're not going. Most people don't understand. People pick that up anyway. That's the human language. People pick up stuff in their body language. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to get off here. I know I intend to be on this long, but that was just one of the things that made me want to make a video today. Something we could talk about, and just try to not throw insults at people, and to really come at it in a logical way, in a common sense way. That's how I look at it. But until next time, you guys have a good evening out there, wherever you may be in America, in the world. And you guys take care and have a blessed night. Until then, hopefully see you on the next video. I'll try to upload some videos down the road, try to go some places and give you guys more interesting entertainment. All right, then. Take care.